Hi everyone, today I want to review a cute and small and fun show that I've seen, maybe happy ending. I know this show has been on Broadway for a while, but I thought I'd share with you my thoughts on it, even now almost a year after it won the Tonys. I know you probably know this show, but let's just talk a bit about the history. This show started in Seoul in South Korea. It was written by Hugh Park and Will Aronson, who both wrote the book, and Will did the music and Hugh did the lyrics. They actually wrote it simultaneously in English and in Korean, and it opened in South Korea in this little theater years ago, and then it came to Broadway on November 2024. They opened at the Belasco Theater, which, side note, it's known as a Criss theater. It's known as a theater that does not win any Tonys, and shows close there really soon. So when I heard that it's going there, I was like, oh my god, Darren Criss is opening a Criss show. But they proved us wrong. They broke the curse. Maybe Happy Ending won 6 Tony Awards. It won the Best Musical, Best Actor for Darren Criss, Best Direction for Michael Arden, Best Book Score, and Scenic Design. They took all of the main ones. They pretty much dominated that season. Rightfully so or not? Let's discuss it. If you don't know what the show is about, this show is about 2 robots, Oliver and Claire, who live in a retired home for robots. One day, Claire's charger breaks down, so she contacts Oliver and asks to use his charger. From then, their friendship blooms and they decide on going on an adventure together. 2 robots in the world, that sounds like a crazy story. Think about it. It feels like it's so far away from us, but it's also so close. And I did not think I would fall in love and just enjoy a story about robots so much. This show has only 4 actors in it. So the story and the songs and just everything else needs to be so good to fill the void of the fact that it's only 4 actors. I love those pizzazz shows, those shows that have all these harmonies and different singers. I love the variety. So having a show that's only 4 people, that can be challenging. But they did a lot of things to make sure that you do not feel the void and that you feel fulfilled with only those 4 actors. Mainly 2, because we have 2 that are always on stage, usually. So let's talk about the story a bit. It's really hard these days to write an original story. Most of the Broadway shows that we see are either adapted from a novel or even from movies now, like Legally Blonde, Mean Girls, all of those things. That's the new era, because at the past it was from books. Even Wicked is based on a book, and now it's from movies. But we have this theme, that returning thing of where do you get original material? So you just go to things that people already love and then you try to adapt it. Is it good or bad? I think it's fine as long as the show is good. So it really depends. I really loved what they did with Water for Elephants, but other people did not. So it really depends. And maybe Happy Ending is one of those rare ones that is a brand new story. It's not based on anything, and it is just something really beautiful that Hugh Park thought of. And I loved it. I think the story is fulfilling enough to keep you always in it, always rooting for the main robots, and rooting even for the side characters and just wanting to see them. I felt like it was a great way of bringing depth into robots and making them feel like people and making you fall in love with both of them. And they did an amazing job. This show is also a 1 act. It does not have an act 2. And I think that's a good thing, because even now as a 2-hour, it's a bit long. There were parts that I would just continue on with the story, but I still think it was in good taste, and I still think that it's one of the most beautiful stories that we have on Broadway now. Even if you don't relate to those Broadway shows that do not have a lot of pizzazz and show in them, I think you'll still like this story because it just keeps you on your toes and keeps you in it all the time. The second thing that you see when you watch this show is the beautiful scenic design. And they did such a fantastic job with it. Really, I was blown away on the creativity of how you can think of theater differently. So instead of, bringing set in and out in the old-fashioned way, they thought about something else that will fit the style of the show, feel more futuristic, and feel more robotic. They have these LEDs that open and close, and that's how they enter and leave a set. And I thought that was just the most fantastic way of introducing new sets and moving us from one scene to another. That was just beautiful. Really, come on. They used 450 LED tiles for this show, guys. It's a lot. There's a very, very distinctive set design for the ones that are related to the robots and the ones that are related to the real world. And there's one song, it's one of my favorite songs, where Oliver, the robot, is thinking about his old owner. He is recounting his days with him, and on that song, they actually brought a different set. It's also a rotating set. That felt more homey and more human, and then you go back to the robot's home, and then it feels more futuristic and robotic. So I love the contrast in that. Also, they have one of the most beautiful set designs ever. So this is a bit of a spoiler. It's just about the set. But at one point, they go into like this firefly scene. They basically bring up the orchestra and this grand piano with a pianist playing on it and all these fireflies. And it just gives so much more depth to the song. It was beautiful. I sat there and I was just like, wow, really loved it. It's so hard to keep an audience on for 2 hours. So they need to keep them entertained and interested enough. You have the story to keep you, but sometimes you're like, okay, what's next? And the set just really kept me in it because it was so interesting and so intriguing. I will also give a shout out to Michael Arden, who orchestrated everything. I think the direction was just fantastic. Another thing that they did, and that was a beautiful thought, you do have other characters coming to the stories, but instead of bringing actors to come out for one scene, they did this with just a screen with actors who were filmed in advance, and then they show the scene there, and we have Claire or the other actors interact with it in real time. It's like a hologram, but you do see her. It just felt so futuristic. The best way for the budget of the show to not bring other actors for just one scene, but do it in a way that you feel like it's in their minds. They use the screen so much throughout the show, and I felt that it only added to it. It did not take away from either the plot or the actors. And it was just perfect. It was just so good with everything together because it just felt genuine. It felt related to the theme and to the story and to the show. I think they did a spectacular job with the technical aspects of it. How do you fill the void? And how do you interact with the actors in a way that it doesn't take away from them or the story, but it does give a lot for the audience. I'm a sucker for taking the 2020s to the theater and not just being stuck with old patterns because we always need to innovate. And this show was innovative. Let's talk about the performances. I went to the show because of the hype that everybody had around it, but mainly to see Darren Criss. I'm a huge Glee fan. I'm a very Potter musical fan. And I love Darren Criss even before everybody else loved him. He was fantastic. And in this show, he was also he's so good. He's great. The thing about Darren Criss, his singing voice, I don't know if he is sometimes pitchy or if it's his voice. I don't know what in it, but sometimes he just feels like he's a bit out of pitch. Or like when he is singing, you can feel when it's these notes that are a bit harder for him. He shows it on his face. But the thing about Darren Criss is that he is so lovable. And he's a fantastic actor that I would just ignore all of the other things and just enjoy his performance because he's good. I don't think he's the best, but I think he is very good. And I think he was the perfect person for this role. He did the robot so good. It felt like he was a robot, and I know that's weird to say. And I think his chemistry with Helen Shen was really good. It's a really hard job because they both need to hold this story for 2 hours, and they did it fantastically. It didn't feel like it was any trouble for them, and I loved it. I love their performance, and they just did an amazing job. We had the two supporting ones. Marcus Choi, he worked, guys. He switched characters all the time. I loved him. He was great. He was fantastic. But I feel like the only one that I felt that I needed more from him was Des Darren. And it's not because of him. It's because he didn't get enough stage time. I'm sorry. He has the most beautiful voice. And every time that he came on stage, I was like, yes, sing to me. I know that his part is basically a jazz singer, so he's not as acting as the other actors are. But I didn't care. I wanted to see him maybe interact like in a weird way with the other characters. But yeah, I get why they put it like that. I just wanted him to sing more because he's so good. Yes, I fell in love with him. Oh my God, Des. And then I discovered, I think he was like an American Idol or something. I don't watch those shows, so I don't know. I really enjoyed him. Really, he just blew my mind. Now I want to talk to you about the music. Maybe Happy Ending has a specific style. It is a really interesting one. I don't feel like it's a classic musical style. It felt more futuristic, but it was like blending of Korean indie pop and American jazz and classicals. It just felt like a mishmash of everything, and I loved it. The songs are really good. From that trip, I don't think I heard a lot of the soundtracks again, but maybe Happy Ending made me want to go and hear the songs again. That's a good sign. I will say that some of the songs feel a bit the same. I felt it also in The Outsiders that it felt like it's the same song, just a different name. Especially because there's like 2 songs that are basically, one of them is separated into 2 parts and then the other one is stuck in the middle. So maybe that made me confused and just like, wait, what? What song is this? But I loved it. The songs are really good. And I really love the songs of Des Darren. Again, please, why is he not singing more? Why Love is my favorite song, and it was so short. I will say, I get bored if it's the same singers, if it's the same people singing in one show. So I felt that in Death Becomes Her. I don't know why at one point I felt like a bit bored that it's only two singers. And here I did not feel it. Maybe it's because it's shorter. Maybe it's because they added a bit more from the other actors and just made a lot of melodies and duets and things that made it more interesting. But they did a good combination here of solos and duets and just changing it up and changing the style up. This is a really, really good soundtrack. If you have not seen the show, I would really recommend going and hearing the soundtrack. After we covered everything, is it worth going to see Maybe Happy Ending? Well, it's a definite yes, but with a few pointers. Maybe Happy Ending is a soft show. And what do I mean by a soft show? This is not a show that's going to give you the pizzazz in the show that you sometimes expect from Broadway. It does not have a number like Moulin Rouge. It does not have those confettis like Anne Juliet, or even the hello number like Book of Mormon. This is a very, very cute show. It's a short show, and it has a very chill vibe. Even the parts that you feel that are a bit more urgent, they're still not as urgent as all of the other shows feel like, because it's only 4 actors on stage, so you won't have all 4 actors at the stage at the same time. And having that little number of actors on stage makes the show be a bit more chill and calm. That is a thing that you need to consider when you're going to see the show, because you're going to leave the show and maybe you'll feel touched, maybe you will think about it later, but you won't be amazed. Well, maybe you will, but I didn't feel amazed. It was a really good show. I really enjoyed it. I listened to the songs. It gave me this warm feeling in my heart. But when I think about it, when I think, oh, did I have an amazing experience? I had a good experience. I had a fun experience, but it did not blow me away. I had other shows that made me much more excited, much more wanting to see it again. This show was not on my let's go see it again show. If I'll go to Broadway again, I'll probably catch other shows. And if I get a chance, I'll be like, okay. So it says something, but I did feel like it deserved to win the Tony for Best Musical and Best Scenic Design and a lot of things. For me, Darren Criss was not the one who I wanted to win the Tony. I thought that Jonathan Groff did a much more impressive job than him in the show Just in Time. I thought that he did something else that Darren Criss did not do. Darren Criss did an amazing job. I'm not saying that he didn't, but I'm saying that Jonathan Groff blew me away. And I felt like he deserved it a bit more. And in the direction, this is a tough one because I do think that Michael Arden deserved the Tony, but I also thought that Jamie Lloyd deserved it for Sunset Boulevard. It was a very, very tough one for me. I thought that Jamie Lloyd deserved it a bit more because both of them took the modern days to the theater, but Jamie Lloyd did something completely different, and I loved what he did with Sunset Boulevard, but I'm not sad that Michael Arden won it because he did a fantastic job. So yeah, a few pointers if you are going to see a show, and I do recommend seeing the show. If you're going to the Belasco Theater in New York, then take into consideration that you do not want to sit on the sides. I made a mistake. I bought a ticket on the side and I saw half of the set design because of how it's built. If you are on the side, you basically don't see part of it. It does open at one point, but I missed a lot of Oliver's room at the beginning and I was like, why? So I moved and I stood at the standing room seats. But if you get a chance, don't sit on the sides, sit as middle as you can. And you can go farther. I think that is okay. You might miss the things that are screened on top, but I don't think it's that of importance. Another thing is that this is a one-act show. So go to the bathroom before. Make sure you are all set because once the show ends, you leave the theater. So you don't have a bathroom break. That is very important. And a few fun facts. I always love learning about fun facts on Broadway shows. Oliver has this plant and he called him Huabun. And he actually has this little bio on the playbill, which is fantastic to add a plant's bio on the playbill. Huabun! I love it. I love these little things that they put. Also, I love how Darren Criss and Michael Arden are connected through Michael Arden's husband. So what were your thoughts on Maybe Happy Ending? Are you going to see it? Is there something that blew your mind off of this show? Or did you leave it unimpressed? I'm really interested to hear your thoughts. Please share them. And if you like my content, like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.